what do we have here? Kirsche. I think that's how you say her name. Whatever. I covered this British person a while ago. I guess we have the sort of thread of how dog shit this person is. Yeah, British boo. Boy Meets Minis. Sort of like Hindu freedom fighter. Senses are percolated. Silly. But what? If we recall, this person did the classic conspiracy theory called the Great Replacement Theory. Why don't we listen? What? Got what? Demographic Replacement Program, aka the Great Replacement Theory. We all know the stupid little black stick figure GIF animation that fucking dumbass Lauren Southern made. And all this, keep in mind, is because of a what? A mosque that's being built? That's literally what she's fucking complaining about. It's like, there's a mosque that's being built for 2.5 million pounds. Grr, I'm so upset about this. Apparently now this person's been making jokes about George Floyd, police like body cam footage, and AGP, the fucking whole trans women are autogynephile fucking meme. And what? There was like 3 articles on Vice about her talking about how she's basically a piece of shit, and they deleted them because she ginned up a bunch of like far-right agitators and dipshits to essentially force those sort of to force the journalists to essentially stop posting, basically. But man, we love bullying our journalists, to make them sort of like disappear. The things you've said on camera, Kirsche, is they're not gonna disappear. Let's go over the hits. Why not? Fuck it.
They're building like a 2.5 million pound mosque somewhere in like northern England that doesn't even have like a large Muslim population. And
bangers.
I was like, of course they are. Yeah, of course they are.
I
get increasingly angry when I see people who are just like, well, they're not doing anything illegal, so
that's true,
like
they're
you
not.
can't really be mad at them. It's like this is very clearly a hostile takeover. Like, we're experiencing it in the U.S. via illegal immigration. They're experiencing it in the UK.
So, yeah, what are we fucking doing our whole fucking shebang, shabong, this complete, just stupid nonsense? A lot of illegal immigrants in the U.S. claim asylum. That is a legal process. That is their right as citizens of the world to claim asylum status. You are allowed to do that. Let's talk about a more recent example in our boy Kilmar Obrego Garcia, who got, detained unlawfully by the Trump administration and sent off to a prison slave labor camp in El Salvador. And what was his crime exactly? Coming to the United States of America, because his life has been, as the court has stipulated, credibly seen as under threat. So, don't ever listen to like these dumbasses like Kirsche ever talk about like, oh yeah, well they can't do that because they're kind of like stinky. It's like, no, this is all a fucking legal process that you are allowed to engage in. That's what Kilmar Obrego Garcia has done, and he is allowed to do that as a citizen of the world. You can claim asylum that is in a concordance with international law. You can cope, you can seethe, you can maud about it. I don't really give much of a shit about that whatsoever. So, get bent, you fucking dumbass bitch. So, when she's talking broadly speaking about demographic replacement and a hostile takeover, what she's basically talking about is that people are in cahoots with certain elements of capital, and typically what they mean by this is when they say them, they mean the Jews, typically, in order to replace white people. or like this is the exact same fucking conspiracy theory that the fucking Nazis cooked up during the fucking 30s. This is not any different. We're just trying to do like the same fucking dumb fuck dog whistles yet again. That's all that this is. It's complete fucking dreck and nonsense. And also, like, this motherfucker will claim that Western civilization is, yeah, dude, Western civilization is, like, so strong and powerful, but a $2.5 million fucking, or million, not $1 million, but £1 million mosque is what's going to be spurring demographic fucking replacement of white people in a fucking community. Like, let's do demographics of Britain, because she's talking about Britain here. Of the UK. What do we got here? Pakistanis, they're Muslims, right? Some of them living in the north. 2.5%. Man, some demographic replacement that's going on here. Black people, about 4% of the population. Some demographic replacement that's going on here. Do we need to like really keep going on here? It's fucking stupid and ridiculous. And yes, like you're saying, Boy Meets Minnie, yeah. They're saying that Jews are the sort of boogeyman that are through media and propaganda are essentially like, yeah, dude, they're doing this because they just want to replace white people in media and they hate you and stuff like that. When it could be anything that's further from the truth. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, it's complete fucking dreck and nonsense. It's stupid. Someone remind Kirsche that Europeans didn't shampoo their hair until Bengali merchants started selling it to them from South Asia. Western civilization she should be thanking my people. She should also be thanking, guess what? The Islamic Golden Age. For example, the Rashidun Caliphate and the Umayyads. The Umayyads, through their conquests of Iberia through Cordoba, were the things that brought utensils to the Europeans. So, those aren't like Western civilization sort of things. Also, guess what? Where did the modern number system come from? Oh, the Islamic Golden Age. There's a reason why it's called the Arabic numeric system. So, But yeah, dude, we're gonna complain about stinky brown people doing demographic fucking replacement. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Okay, via like the migrant crisis nonsense and refugees, which potato, basically the same.
So why is there a migrant crisis? Do we know exactly why? Something called the Syrian Civil War, of which the British took about not that many in comparison to, say, the Germans. But how many Syrian refugees in UK? As per the AI overview here, approximately 28,000. Whoa, some demographic replacement that's going on here through the Syrian refugee crisis. Oh, nonsense.
Fucking thing. And it's like, our politicians are assisting these people with both demographic replacement as well as just making citizens' lives worse in general.
No, the problem with citizens' lives being worse in general is a byproduct of capitalism, of capital being further and further concentrated in a smaller and smaller group of people. The problem is wealthy people, billionaires, who own all of the fucking money. That is the people that you should be having a problem with, not with minority populations who are trying to basically, make a better lives for themselves. It's nonsense. Now, it's probably true there are some areas of London and other big cities with minority white populations, but again, who cares? I believe that is the case with certain boroughs in London, but okay, sure, fuck it. Why don't we do it? Demographics of London. Sure. Why don't we do that? Demographics of London. Majority ethnic. White. 53.8%. Crazy. I believe in, like, it's like certain boroughs have, what? Certain, majority populations of minorities in comparison to, what? Like, with, like, white minorities? Or with, like, white people being a minority in those boroughs? But that's quite literally because, and if we're talking about, like, redlining and sort of, like either redlining or, for example, I don't think it's like, I'm trying to think of what the term is. It's basically like the term where, like, certain people are also going to be segmented into parts of, like, the population of Chinatowns, for segregation. That's the term I was looking for. Throughout history, certain populations in big cities were segregated to certain parts of a fucking city. So it makes sense that certain boroughs within those cities have, like, Chinatowns or fucking Italy towns or fucking whatever the who's a fuck it motherfucker towns or whatever the fucking shit. It's because of historic segregation. So, you know, we know why stuff like this fucking happens. We know why Chinatowns exist. We know why, like, I don't know, Little Italy's fucking exist and shit like that. People have been segregated for a very long time throughout every fucking metropolitan city since, like, I don't know, the fucking 30s. So, okay, sure, man.
They're changing the entire culture of these countries. It might not be
Sure, man.
a hostile takeover like you see in war. There's no guns and battleships and bombs, but it is still a hostile takeover. It is.
Again, man, 28,000 Syrians are sure doing a hostile takeover of London or whatever the fuck. Stupid. And I mean, what? If we want to talk about, what, the amount of Pakistanis? Sure. If we want to go, like, with Pakistanis in particular. How many Pakistanis in England? How many Pakistanis in UK? Approximately 1.7 million people. And again, why is there a pretty large Pakistani diaspora in Britain? Funny little thing called the British Rajj. You know, the thing that the East India Company had in their control for about 300 years. So it kind of makes sense that maybe a bunch of Pakistanis might have gone to the fucking homeland in order to either do work, represent their population in the fucking sort of seat of the fucking empire, and also, you know, decided to stay there and make their own fucking communities. But, you know, they're doing demographic fucking replacement. Stupid. A lot of them were indentured servants who were shipped all over the place. Thank you, Boy Meets Minnie. Ah, so they were also slaves. Ooh. They were, because they were also slaves. Oh, but the British were the first ones to also fucking outlaw. They outlawed slavery before the existence of the fucking British Rajj. Do we need to look up the sort of definition of what an indentured servant is? Sure. Is a form of labor in which a person is contracted to work without salary for a specific number of years. Now, we can sort of do, like, hemming and hawing about, like, well, you know, technically they're going to get paid eventually because they can be entered voluntarily for a prepaid sum. But guess what? For those fucking years when they are, you know, essentially working as a servant for, I don't know, whatever British dumbfuck or some shit needs to fucking get some tea and crumpets or whatever fucking idiot bullshit. And if anything fucking happens to them, because typically these indentured servants had very, very little protections, and were treated like fucking dog shit by the racist fucking British landowners constantly. I think it's pretty safe to say that you can make the analogies that indentured servants are basically like, oh, well, it's slavery, but eventually we pay them. You know, they're not actually slaves. So get the fuck out of here with this stupid excuse.
Still going to change these countries irreparably in the future. UK, it's almost all of Europe. I'm specifically speaking of the UK because of the mosque thing. We're noticing. And it's like,
oh no, one fucking, again, what are we fucking talking about here? A $2.5 million, million pound mosque. Yeah, man, that sure is going to cause a huge demographic fucking replacement. Stupid. Someone remind Kirsche that her attitude leads to this kind of oppression. What do we have here? When Santa Anna burnt down its own Chinatown. What do we got here? And this would have been in, what? This would have been in America, correct? Yeah, in California. Hey, guess what? Literal fucking consequences of, well, quite literally, literal consequences of this dumbass shit being played out directly, like instantaneously. But we want to like hem and haw and fucking bitch and complain about like the huge amount of demographic replacement that's occurring as a result of it. Get the fuck out of here. None of these people actually give a shit about any of this stuff, okay? It's bullshit. It's nonsense.
I made a tweet. I made a tweet talking about
let's see. Kirsche says it's not okay to hurl racial abuse at a 5-year-old, but it's the consequence of where we're at right now. Invokes George Floyd to say there's a 2-tier justice system. Now, she's correct when she says this, but it's not because of fucking black people. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And people calling children slurs is an outcome of white people being the real victims. Ah, yes. Of what exactly? I don't know. Some stupid bullshit. I believe this is in reference to what's the name of that one stupid dumbass fucking Nazi who got like the GoFundMe or some shit? I believe it's in reference to that, right? That stupid fucking bullshit with the dumb fuck Nazi bitch who called an autistic. Yeah, Shiloh Hendricks. Thank you, Boy Meets Mini. Yeah, it's in reference to Shiloh Hendricks, that dumb fuck Nazi who was just like, well, personally, I think that a black autistic kid is stupid and stinky, and it's just like, but what did he do? What did he do that was wrong? Nothing. I don't like him, cause fuck you. And it's just like, all right, man, sure, dude. What do we got here?
a lot of people are just like unfollowed. That's an unfollow from me. Bostonian guy said, "Oh no, what am I going to do without followers that think it's okay to call a 5-year-old the N-word?"
True.
I don't think most people think it's okay. I think there are a lot of people who are tired of things happening, like Daniel Penny, like the whole George Floyd incident and the Summer of Love.
Wait, is she trying to say that Daniel Penny was a fucking victim? Jesus fucking Christ. No, Daniel Penny is, contrary to popular belief, not a fucking victim. What the fuck are you talking about? You fucking dumbass? Oh man, not Daniel Penny, who, I don't know, choked out Jordan Neely for the crime of what exactly? Oh, him having a fucking mental breakdown because he was homeless. And that happens all the time to fucking homeless people. They have fucking mental breakdowns because that just happens because they're homeless. But sure, man. And what, the fucking George Floyd incident. Aren't they thinking about, like, pardoning George Floyd from what I call? They're, like, thinking about it, I think, right? I know that fucking Ben Shapiro is trying to push for that shit. But sure, man. Totally. The George Floyd incidents. Okay, man.
Love, like the Carmelo Anthony. There's just a lot of people tired of the two.
So that was the black kid who murdered that one white kid at the fucking track meet, Carmelo Anthony, if I recall correctly. So I believe from that story in particular, because Carmelo Anthony, do we even know necessarily what his story is? What is his story? Like, what exactly happened with Carmelo Anthony? He basically just got, like, if I'm recalling correctly, basically what happened with Carmelo Anthony is he had got into a spat with, I don't remember the kid's name, but it was a white kid, stabbed him to death, and then, he got arrested as a result. Now, do we know exactly what his story is for as to what led to him stabbing the fucking, the white kid? I forget because I'm really bad with names. But quite literally, what I do remember is the father of the white kid saying, like, can you please not fucking politicize this? And guess what happened immediately with all these, like, dumb fuck right-wingers? They immediately started fucking politicizing it, because of course they did. This is a perfect rank opportunity for them to just do, like, the stupid idiot fucking, like, 1350 propaganda constantly. Like, whoa, free propaganda for me? Oh, don't mind if I do. Kind of fucking bullshit. So, I guess Kirsche also wants to participate in politicizing and going against the wishes of the father there. So, that's good. That's cool.
Two-tier justice system, and
Mm-hmm.
they start saying some crazy things and doing some crazy things. That doesn't make it okay, but it's like...
So she is correct when she says that there's a two-tier justice system, but again, for who exactly then? Because poor white people also suffer about as much as poor black people in terms of, well, getting arrested for drug charges or some shit. This isn't like a fucking just a white versus black thing. No, it's about a poor versus rich thing. That's the two-tier justice system. But again, since she's a fucking racist, everything has to be about race.
That's just kind of the consequence of where we're at now, unfortunately. And there are some people who are like accelerationists that are like, the pendulum is going to swing back so far it's going to break off. And I hope that's not true. I don't want to see that happening. I don't like seeing this kind of, like...
What? What does accelerationism have to do with any of this? It's very strange.
Violence towards other people? Like, not that words are violence, right? But there are people advocating for violence on both sides. And I
it's a both sides issue, of course.
Nature be healing and shit. They will not kneel is the sum of it. You know? This is...
They will not kneel? What the fuck does that even mean? Like, talking about, like, Derek Chauvin or some shit? This is very strange.
Clown world, fuck it. It's, just, most people being, upset at how the account is kind of cucked. I kind of...
What are you talking about? Yeah. Kirsche is a white supremacist. If you stare this racial abuse in the face in a country with America's history, this is true. Good point here by Bint. And you need to convince yourself that white people are the true victims. You clearly put the feelings of white people far above the feelings of anyone else. Again, the problem isn't about, like, racial minorities getting abused by the justice system. It's a rich versus a poor thing. That is the fucking problem. But I guess Kirsche doesn't fucking understand that because, I don't know, she's a fucking stupid bitch who is also a racist. What else do we got? Ku Klux Kirsche. It's a good name. Mocking the brutal murder of George Floyd at the hands of police officers, calling him Saint Floyd of the fentanyl. While singing a mock hymn. Yeah, because again, all these like dumb fuck white supremacists don't have to. They're just like, when literally all of the evidence and even other police organizations, when they talked about this, want to know what they all said? They're just like, yeah, Derek should not have been kneeling on that man's neck like that. Where is his partner to tell him he should stop doing that? Literally, every single fucking department was saying that. But what do we got here?
Put workers in... Not concerned that the post would put workers in danger. Over the past decade, the pendulum regarding DEI in corporate America has swung both ways. Far to the left in 2020, in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder... Saint Floyd of the fentanyl in...
He didn't die of fentanyl. He just didn't. It was because of the knee to the neck, which everyone said. All of these fucking dumbass fucking police sort of advocacy groups said, like, they should not have done that. Why did they fucking do that? This is kind of fucked up. Crazy. But, you know, every fucking dumb fuck white supremacist has to say, it's because he had fentanyl, in his veins. It was all the fent. It was like, no, it was not. It wasn't the fent. It just wasn't. He didn't die of fentanyl. If he died of fucking fentanyl, that would have been an incidental. It was because to the fucking knee of the neck. Quite literally. He himself said he can't fucking breathe, man. But yeah, sure. It's because of fucking, I don't know, whatever fucking stupid bullshit. So, yeah, man, sure. She should also know that fent affects white communities a lot, too. She should know that, but she doesn't give a fuck about that. Who are the people that die more of fentanyl? It's not fucking black people. It's poor white communities. It's like the new opioid crisis. Who dies more from fentanyl? Males and individuals age 30 to 39. So this is in Canada. Let's go in the US. Drug overdoses, deaths, facts and figures. Let's see if we can find fentanyl. I want to see fentanyl. There's a bunch of reports and it's going to take fucking forever. Contained milligrams of fentanyl. How does fentanyl affect the body? I want the death rates. Overdose deaths involving opioids rose 38%. Involving synthetic opioids, primarily illicitly manufactured with fentanyl, rose 55.6%. Those appear to be the primary increase of in those deaths. Fantastic. Unless the drug is prescribed by a licensed medical professional. I believe that's all the instances. I'm looking for exact fucking numbers. Because it mostly affects poorer white communities. If we're talking about the opioid death, or the opioid crisis, the people who are affected the most are poorer white communities. Out in, like, the sticks and shit. I'm looking for some stats. Scale the epidemic. Because it is bad. Obviously, I'm not denying that it's bad. But the thing is, Trump has called fentanyl an extraordinary effect. His administration has claimed that fentanyl deaths range anywhere from 300,000 per year to tens of millions. Okay, well, that's definitely not accurate, but, you know, it's Donald Trump embellishing for the purposes of, I don't know, trying to manufacture a crisis. So, why don't we try to see if we can find evidence that George Floyd died from fentanyl. But yes, if we're talking about the opioid crisis, which fentanyl is a part of the problem, whoa. It's because of a lot of synthetic opioids that are going on. That's why. George Floyd died of oxygen loss, not pre-existing conditions or overdose, prosecution experts say. This is from 2021. George Floyd's pre-existing medical conditions and drugs in his system had nothing to do with his death. Two medical experts for the prosecution testified at Derek Chauvin's murder trial Thursday. Rather, a combination of actions during his arrest that deprived them of oxygen caused his death, they said. Floyd died from a low level of oxygen, and this caused damage to his brain that we see, and it also caused a PEA. Pulseless electric activity, arrhythmia that caused his heart to stop. Martin Tobin, a lung and critical care specialist at the Edward Hines Jr. VA Hospital in Loyola University's medical school in Chicago, told Hennepin County District Court. Tobin said handcuffing Floyd and pinning him face down to the pavement along with the knees of Chauvin pressed into his neck and back, all combined to reduce his ability to breathe and ultimately killed him. Pressure on his chest and back. Dr. Bill Smock, a Louisville, Kentucky physician and expert on deaths from asphyxia, agreed that Floyd died because he had no oxygen left in his body as a result of pressure on his chest and back. Crazy. We've seen the video. The Minneapolis police officer. Prosecution says Chauvin pressing his knees into Floyd's neck while detaining him on suspicion of using a counterfeit bill at a convenience store caused his death. We've all seen the video. We know the fucking video. We don't need to fucking play the video. But what the defense argues, Chauvin did what his training taught him, and that it was a combination of Floyd's underlying medical conditions, drug use, and adrenaline flowing through his system that ultimately killed him. I don't know, all of these experts seemingly say, like, no, it was the knee to the back of the neck and pressure on the chest that caused asphyxiation. That's what did him in. And these guys are like, actually, no, it was because of all this other bullshit. When literally there were fucking experts saying, we don't know why Derek Chauvin decided to do what he did to George Floyd. Like former police officers and SWAT people said, like, why the fuck is he doing this? This is kind of fucked up. He doesn't need to do this. So that's cool. This whole thing of talking about, it was the conditions, drug use, and adrenaline. All just nonsense. Like, let's see, what did police officers say about Derek Chauvin? Let's see if we can find them. Would you look at that? The police chief of Minneapolis has testified that ex-officer Derek Chauvin violated the agency's policy on force during the arrest of George Floyd. Chief Mediara Arredondo said that the way Mr. Chauvin restrained Mr. Floyd was not in line with training and certainly not part of our ethics and our values. That's his police chief saying this. And we all know about the solidarity that cops typically have with one another. They never rat out their own. So the police chief saying this makes it pretty fucking clear. But yeah, dude, it was because of the fucking Fent. Yeah, man, sure.
In his name we pray, amen. And far to...
Yeah, doing the stupid mock song. Yeah, dude, totally. She literally did this with an edited VOD with added visual effects. She wasn't even hiding this. Imagine literally editing the VOD to do your little fucking racist ass bit. Sure. Context for the George Floyd remark. George Floyd was murdered on camera in a way not uncommon for black men in America, and your first thought is to invoke a racist victim blaming hoax as a joke. If this is who you think needs to be cut down to size for not being a perfect person, you're a terrible person. I read a lot of articles on stream, a lot of which invoke his name. To some people, he has basically been given sainthood status. I don't know what, like, schizophrenic fucking articles you fucking have read, but I don't think he's been given sainthood status. What the fuck does that even mean? Due to the frequency of his name coming up in articles still in 2024/2025. What was this article written? That was in 2021. Let's see this. Let's see the veracity of this claim. I'm curious now. Sure. Articles. Here's something from 2020, 2021, 2021. Here's one from 2024. Britannica.com. Well, that's not an article. When was this written in the New York Times? 2021. Okay. Another one from 2021. Georgetown Law, 2021. 2021. 2021. I've only found one article that was written in 2024, and on the first page of Googling George Floyd articles on Google, Kirsche. So, stupid or full of it? Meh. I hate that the internet's being dominated by Nazis. Kirsche has 50k Twitch followers and is pardoned. How is this allowed? That's a good point, Boy Meets Mini. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to advocate for anything in particular, but maybe some people should do something about that, you know? Let's see. Let's go to the second page. Fuck it. The forbidden second page. NPR News. When was this article written? Is this even an article? The fuck is this? Can I get a date when this was written, please? That's in 2020, making George Floyd square. So that's 2020. In June 2022. That's the people going on trial. Not seeing anything here in particular in terms of a date. The Guardian. Well, that's 2023. Okay. Here's an article in 2024 on the second page, by the way. 2020, 2020, 2022 in the Oxford Academic. 2020. I don't know what the fuck the conversation is. So far, I'm not seeing a lot of 2024/2025 articles being written about George Floyd. Third page. Fuck it. The New Yorker, 2020. This is something on the Department of Justice when the three former Minneapolis police officers were convicted. So there would have been some articles in 2022 about this because of those officers that were just convicted. Harvard Kennedy School. Here's something from 2020, 2022, 2022, 2021. So I think the veracity of the claim that this is all a ton of George Floyd articles that are being written in 2020 and 2024 and 2025, it's not passing the smell test. This ain't passing the sniff test. I started to sing along which Saint Floyd of the Fentanyl, in his name we pray, as a way to joke at the people who put him on a pedestal. He wasn't a good person, he shouldn't have died. Both can be true. This is true. However, the manner in which he fucking died, through the fact that the police just did, well, in particular Derek Chauvin, out of line with the fucking, and this is as per the Minneapolis fucking police chief, who literally said, like, this is unacceptable what he did. We are pissed about the fact that he did this. This is completely unacceptable. He should not have done this. Completely fucking out of line. So, you know, that's cool. As a Christian, I find that really offensive. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So, no, Kirsche, it's not because of, like, Saint Fent George, whatever the fuck. You don't give a shit about any of that stuff. You're just saying the shit that you're saying because you're a fucking racist. Let's see, what else? Context says it's not actually disproved. She said those things about demographic replacement. Some additional context into the demographic replacement. What do we got here? Kirsche, this is a very stupid and obvious lie. You quoted the UK Prime Minister yesterday, 2 months after the comments. Keir Starmer didn't say that the immigration program was about replacement. You did. So yes, that's great replacement theory. What is this? He's a Nazi. Article. When was this tweeted? 19 hours ago? When was this posted here by Bint? April 9th, 2025. When did this come out? The article goes on to cite my stream in which I quote Prime Minister of the UK in a press conference trying to say I am pushing a racial great replacement theory. I mean, you literally did the whole fucking song and dance about the fucking $2.5 million fucking mosque, which is, yes, quite literally pushing for the great replacement theory. That's how that works, Kirsche. That is great replacement rhetoric. Yes. Yes. That is actually how that works, but you know. This is 2 is not true, misconstrued, all in an attempt to cause public backlash towards me and my sponsors. Because of this, I feel I need to clarify my stance on things. I am not a racist. I am not a Nazi. And I'm thankful that the people who actually watch my content know this. I don't know. For whatever reason, all the people who seem to constantly reply to Bint for some reason tend to be Nazis. Not passing the smell test. I've told explicit stories about growing up with my mother, whom I always condemn as not just a terrible parent, but as a terrible person in general, and the people she associated with. These stories have become well known enough that my audience will super chat during collabs so that my partners are stun locked with what I had to deal with as a child. Victim narrative. When was this, like, dumbass shit? What is this policy that she's complaining about? Check the VOD. Has the VOD. Very cool. I see no mention of Keir Starmer in the timestamps. I see no appearance of the Keir Starmer clip in this stream. And this is in regards to the mosque stuff, so nothing to do with Keir Starmer, so she is lying. What I do see is you reading tweets from the disgraced white nationalist Sargon of Akkad, who has a clip where he calls a child with Down syndrome the hard R. Oof, that's rough. Sargon of Akkad's tweet regarding building of mosque in London. Comparisons to illegals invading the U.S. Not passing the smell test here, Kirsche. You're not passing the vibe check. You ain't passing that shit, you dumbass. Well, so she thinks that having a tough childhood gives her license to be a fascist. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of people tend to think. So that's cool. Very good. That's the context. I believe this is the whole sort of thread. And this is from like a while ago. This is the most recent stuff. Yeah, apparently she's trying to claim that she has like the support of the, VTubing community. Sure, man. Totally. Yeah, I totally believe that. Silly. It's ridiculous, man. No, you do not have the support of the VTubing community. Most of these people fucking hate you, and whoa. A Nazi that's replying to this. Crazy. That's very cool. Very, very good. The extreme violence of hateful, low-quality spam dog piles are obvious. Right-wing griftsphere tourists admitting to barely knowing who she is at many times, with only the troublesome fringes of the community engaged. Guys, I don't know. I think it's pretty safe to operate under the assumption that this dumbass bitch, she might be a Nazi, guys. I don't know. I think Kirsche might be a Nazi. I think there might be problems with her here. I don't know, guys. Can't really say. So I think it's pretty safe to say, you know. Pretty safe to say. I don't think this is hyperbole or ridiculous to say, of course, that Kirsche here might be a bit of a fucking weirdo little fucking Nazi fucking freak. I don't think that's hyperbole to say based off of all of the stuff that we have just gone over here. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this fucking dumbass bitch over here is a stupid fucking Nazi and is a fucking white nationalist, to say the fucking least. But yeah, man, we're gonna do like Saint Floyd of the memery fucking stupid nonsense and be like, yeah, guys, I'm not saying that because I'm like a dumbass freak or like whatever. Sure, man. Yeah, dude, totally. That's what you definitely mean when you say all of the fucking complete idle conjecture and fucking nonsense. Yeah, man, sure, totally. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit, dude.